What's up guys, Brandon Washington here, and today is Monday, which means I'm back with another Motivational Monday. Now in this video, we're gonna be looking at 5 easy ways for you to upgrade your filmmaking. That means there are gonna be 5 tips that you can immediately add to your shooting today even to be able to upgrade your next shoot. Now, with this being a motivational video, there are gonna be 5 free ways, so you're not gonna need to spend a dime. This is gonna be something quick, easy that you can do right now. But for this video, I'm gonna be referencing this edit that I did not too long ago. So I wanna share that with you guys now, and then we'll jump into those tips.
Shut it down. Everybody get down, cause we about to shut it down. Cause we about to shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
What's up guys, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here and you love filmmaking, gear, tips, tutorials, tricks, all that good stuff, consider hitting that subscribe button. But I don't want to waste any time. I want to jump straight into those 5 tips. When it comes to filmmaking, it's very easy to get caught up in gear. I know personally, I have gear acquisition syndrome, or some people like to call it gas, but basically you get caught up into this mindset thinking that you have to have great gear. Now I know this is a little counterproductive since I did a video last week about gear, but I wanted to do this video to tell you guys that there are things you can do right now to upgrade your filmmaking without spending any money, without spending a dime, buying no additional gear, nothing like that. So this video is all about that. Also, if you guys can't tell, voice is not really doing too well. I was sick last week, still sick this week. I can't kick it. But let's stop wasting time. Let's go ahead and jump into these 5 tips. Now, the very first tip we have is shoot only what you love. That's right, I'm getting sappy real early. No, I'm being serious. Literally, when it comes to filmmaking, you have to only shoot what you love. This is why personally I've decided to go the whole freelance route. It allows me to pick jobs that I'm passionate about and kind of say no to jobs that I don't care about. When it comes to filmmaking, just because you like picking up a camera and shooting and making videos doesn't mean you want to shoot everything. For example, I remember one time someone reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to shoot a quinceañera. Well, I don't know anything about quinceañeras. I don't know anything about that real culture, to be honest with you, because I'm not really all that cultured. But I will say that when they asked me to shoot the quinceañera, at first I was like, yeah, sure, sounds like fun. Money, right? But the problem that I ran into was that because I didn't care anything about the quinceañera, I didn't really even want to do the research to figure out what type of shots I needed to get. I didn't want to do the research to figure out like what it was that really took to make a great quinceañera video. And so like personally for me, the quinceañera video market is nothing that I want to be a part of. So I actually ended up calling them and telling them like, hey, I probably should go ahead and find somebody else. And this is because just because you're a filmmaker, you don't want to just go shoot everything. Only shoot what you care about. Because when you actually shoot what you care about, it shows in your videos, because that's when you're normally willing to go that extra mile to get the best possible film and video you can get. So don't just go out and just shoot anything and everything. I do tell people to go out and shoot a lot so that way you can get really cultured and kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like. But if you know there's something you don't care about and you know there's something you don't like, don't waste your time going out and trying to film it, because you're not gonna enjoy it, you're not gonna wanna edit it for sure, and ultimately you're not gonna make great videos. So tip number 1 is only shoot what you love. Trust me, you won't regret it if you stick to that rule. All right, tip number 2. See what I did there? Because I said I'm not good at quinceañeras, but now I'm speaking Spanish. Word. So tip number 2 is shoot tons of angles. I remember the very first time I actually met up with another filmmaker after I kind of got into the filmmaking world, and one of the things that he told me was get multiple angles, and when you think you have enough angles, get some more. This was so huge because being able to cut from different angles when you're editing is so important. It's really what ties your story together and ties your scenery together. When you only show everything from one angle or one or two, maybe three angles, it gets really boring really fast. And if you ever find that your video is kind of dragging on, adding in extra cuts is normally what helps this process out. Now, the best thing to do is shoot a lot of angles. Even if you have to have your talent and do the same thing 10 different times so you can get 10 different angles, do it. It's absolutely worth it. And with that being said, don't just try to do 10 different angles using the same gear. If you're doing an angle with a tripod, then do some with the tripod. If you're doing some with a gimbal, do some with the gimbal. If you're doing some handheld, do some handheld. Switch it up. Get as much coverage as you possibly can get with those different angles, because ultimately it is what's going to make your video stand out. Now, when it comes to tip number 3, I kind of already snuck in that word, but it is coverage. Coverage, coverage, coverage. 3 times. Say it with me. Coverage, coverage, coverage. You need to shoot as much coverage as you can possibly get. If you're shooting a short film, if you're shooting a music video, if you're shooting a live concert, it doesn't matter what you're shooting. Coverage is the key to making an amazing video. I can't tell you when I was first starting out how many times I would go shoot something, come back, I'd find the right song, or I'd start working on my edit, and then I'd start running out of clips before my song was over or before I wanted to. And that was just because I didn't have enough coverage. Now, coverage can be anything when you're shooting. For example, at this concert I shot, you can see that like not only did I shoot, the DJs doing their thing, but I got wide shots of them, I got close shots of them, I got the concert, I got the foam, I got lights, I got everything. I shot the mess out of this concert because you want to have as much coverage as possible. Normally what I like to hope for is that when I come back and I go to start editing, that I end up not even using 70 to 75% of my footage. And that's legitimately what I'm going for. It is having that excessive amount of coverage. Now, I know a lot of people will go in and like plan everything out to a T to make sure they have exactly the shots they need for their edit. However, you never know when inspiration will hit and when you will change your mind as far as what you want to do in the edit. So it is always important to get an excessive amount of coverage and do whatever it takes to make sure you get that. If that means showing up early to make sure you've got plenty of time to capture enough B-roll and enough extra shots to have that coverage, do it. But having all that extra coverage is a key element to making your video stand out, because now you can really kill it in the edit. So now number 4 is, I mentioned it again, editing. Shoot for your edit. What I mean by shooting for your edit is legitimately just that. Shoot knowing how you plan to edit. Now, I already mentioned you want to have a ton of coverage, right? But there are certain things you can do to make sure that you're shooting in a way where it makes sense for your edit. For example, these zoom in, zoom out transitions are like huge right now in the filmmaking world. Now, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with them. I love them when they're used properly, but I hate them when they're not. And so the biggest thing you can do is if you know you want to use some of these cool, trendy transitions, which I'm not against anybody using them. I think they're dope. I use them. But if you know you're going to use them, shoot so you can use them right. So for example, check out this shot right here. You can see I started out in a wide shot and then I zoom in and now I'm on stage. This was planned. This was not an accident. I legitimately knew I was going to shoot a wide shot from this angle, so then when I use my zoom transition, I could zoom in and be from the same angle and the shot looks cohesive. These are the things where I say I have a love-hate relationship with them. You want to make sure that if you're going to use these zoom in, zoom out transitions or any transitions, shoot in a way where the edit makes sense. So this is the biggest thing you can do when you're out shooting. Not only get tons of coverage and not only follow all the other tips that I gave you, but shoot in a way where if you know what type of editing you're gonna do, you can kind of pre-plan your edits with your shots. And the 5th and final tip I have for you guys is edit to the beat. Now, I know this one is one that a lot of people say, but when I say edit to the beat, edit to all the beats. So what I mean by that is you don't have to just stick to the snare and the kick drum on every single edit, or stick to the snare and kick drum throughout your same edit. There are tons of little elements in the music, and so what I tell a lot of people to do is when you're looking for your music or you find your music, really take the time to go through and listen to that song. And then one little kind of pro tip that I do is I go through and I just have the song on the actual timeline of my editor. I'll go through and add actual markers to it to where I know certain songs or certain things are happening, so I can edit to that beat. Using things like the waveforms to kind of help you out with that is super beneficial, but kind of edit to the beat, but change it up. Don't just use the standard kick drum as your basic editing cut point. I mean, legitimately edit to all of them. If you get like some choppy snares in there, do some choppy cuts in there, or throw in your transitions on something really cool within the music already, so that way you don't even have to worry about additional sound effects and things like that. It sounds more natural. So this is the fifth and final tip I have for you guys, is make sure you are editing to the beat, but make sure you use all the beats. All right, so that's what I have for you guys today. Those are your 5 tips to upgrading your filmmaking immediately, and it's not gonna cost you a dime. Now, as you guys know, if you guys saw my last video, I did release my first ebook. It is The Beginner's Guide to Filmmaking. Now, right now, I do have this book available for sale for $4.99. It's only $4.99, and that's because I didn't want to make it too expensive for you guys. I wanted to make sure that it is a reasonable price so you guys can read this book and learn a lot more about filmmaking. Now, that's completely optional. These other tips that I gave you are 100% something that you can implement today. However, if you guys do want to support the channel and want to support what I'm doing here, I would really appreciate it if you checked out the book. If you did buy the book, please leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Send me an email. I have all that information in the description. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you guys feel motivated. I hope you guys feel driven and ready to go out and shoot and make some awesome content. If you guys do, share it with me. I want to see it. People send me messages all the time on Instagram, and I love getting those messages. You guys are what actually motivate me to keep shooting, to keep creating, and to keep posting to this YouTube channel on a regular basis. So this is 3 weeks in a row, Motivational Mondays coming at you guys. I appreciate you guys for everything you've done, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. By the way, if you haven't already and you got this far, just subscribe. Do it. Press the button. Now. All right, I'll let you guys go. Peace.